Merry Moaniyule, everybody, and a very happy new Moaniyule 2026. I guess it's that time of year again when it's Moaniyule season and everyone's celebrating the joy of Moaniyule. The frost is on the grass and there's a wee bite in the air, and the children are looking forward to getting off school to celebrate Moaniyule. It's a time, I suppose, when people come together and to celebrate the goodness and the joy that is Moaniyule, whereby two people generally in front of their webcams, have very, very safe conversations. And any sort of disagreeableness or tension is giggled away by both parties to ensure that it maintains itself as a very safe and very cosy chat. I think that's what we'd all like, really, is to just have a very, very safe, very mundane chat about nothing really at all. So, anyway, I want to talk in this video about a certain group of people. They're kind of a special group of people. They go by various names, but if I named them, if I called them out by the name that they call themselves, I could be up in court for hate speech. Because I'm not part of their tribe, I could get into trouble for calling out the name that they use for themselves. A little bit like the N-word, but the N-word on steroids. So, I don't think I'll go on for too long about it. This is what people voted for. I gave other options, but they wanted me to talk about the Usury people. Now, the Usury people also go by other nicknames such as the Orange Juice and the Chosenites, and I think that's the terminology I'll use in this recording. The Chosenites. All right, so let's go back to the start. By the way, I hope you can. I don't know if you can pick it up. The sound of I'm using a synth to produce the sounds of a log fire, so you might hear the guttering of the flames and the crackling of the timber. Do hope you appreciate that. It makes the recording a bit more wholesome and a bit more cozy, because I guess it's that time of year when everyone is celebrating Moaniyule and waiting for the coming of me, Millennial Moans, to have very, 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 very safe conversations with people wherein we agree with absolutely everything the other one says. And it's a time of tolerance. We try to stamp out the bigotry and have a tolerant chat festival. All right, so that's. I think I've promoted Moaniyule enough for the moment, and I'll get back to the main topic of this recording, which is what people wanted me to talk about. The Chosenites are quite a strange kettle of fish. When I was a young fella at school, I had this idea that it was a religion and that it was the root of Christianity and the root of Islam was the Chosenite religion. That's what I was told by my mentors, my adults, my teachers, the people I looked up to, or I was supposed to look up to, but I didn't realise that they were absolutely idiots. They were clueless fools trying to corral us into an ignorant part of the farmyard. I'll put it that way, an ignorant part of the farmyard, so that we'd never question the Chosenites. We just tick off the box and say they're a different religion from Christianity, but they're actually better than Christianity because they're actually the roots of Christianity. If you want to get pure religion, you have to go back and look at the Chosenites. So I guess the Chosenites had a monopoly when it came to world religions, and that kind of made me a little bit suspicious, because I was now religious myself. Dare I say it, using the antonym, I was irreligious. Irreligious. Now, some people might say unreligious, but that would not be correct. That would be very bad grammar, and I don't like to see bad grammar. Of course, the working class, they tend to use very bad grammar, and I'm more likely to let it slide because, I don't take them, oh God, I don't take them very seriously, So, anyway, getting back to the Chosenites, I was a little bit perplexed as to their vigour, in that they were the original religious people. And as time went on, I started hearing about the Holocaust in World War II, and how the Chosenites, as an ethnic group, had been persecuted. They'd not been persecuted for practicing their religion. No, they'd been persecuted for their very blood, for being part of an ethnic group. Now that confounded me terribly, because then I said, well, wait a minute, I thought they were a religious group like the Christians. Now, when it comes to Christianity, it's a universalist religion. Almost everybody in the Congo is a Christian, nearly everyone in the Philippines is a Christian. A lot of people in Poland are Christians. So, to be a Christian, anyone could be a Christian, but it seemed that when it came to the Chosenites that it was not so easy to become a Chosenite. And if you had very, very dark pigmentation, according to the rumours, you could be sterilised. This is what I was hearing. And I became rather curious about the Chosenites, so I said, well, maybe they're not a religion, and maybe they're not really, a universalist type thing. They're kind of an elite group, and you're either born a Chosenite, or you can never be a Chosenite, more or less. That's what it was coming to. And then I started doing a bit of digging, and on the internet, of course, because I don't read books. And I discovered that in a lot of the very powerful institutions in modern life, central banking, fractional reserve banking, the media, Hollywood, buy banks, what else? Sports, Gaislop. I noticed that leaning over the levers of power were the Chosenites, predominantly Chosenites, with a few notable exceptions. And when you start noticing these things and you try to share that knowledge with other people, that's when you run afoul of the Chosenites. Suddenly the eye of Sauron is upon you, and you're going to be debanked, you're going to lose your job. You might even end up crucified, You might end up crucified. They'll nail you to a tree, and then they'll say in the newspapers that you committed suicide by crucifying yourself over 17 agonizing hours. That's how powerful they are. Not only that, they'll put that in the newspaper, they'll put that on articles all over the internet, they'll put that on the news channels, and the average Joe will believe it. They'll believe it. So, I was very, very upset when I realised that I had no real power to change the status quo. The Chosenites were going to run our lives ad infinitum, because unfortunately the most intelligent of the non-Chosenites had long been done away with through various revolutions and wars, which means that you only get very, very rare members in society who are non-Chosenites, who are exceptionally intelligent, and I'm talking about people like myself here with an IQ of 157. All right. So what is a guy of an IQ of 157 going to do against millions and millions of Chosenites who work like a termite colony, who work like an ant colony? A termite colony might be better, because termites tend to destroy the fabric of an edifice. They tend to, to consume the wood, and and make the building fall down, and then they move on to another building. I guess you could say that they tend to destroy maybe 109 different buildings, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But anyway, another thing I was told about the Chosenites is that they don't like manual labour. Now, I've got to come clean here. I don't think someone of my intelligence and my capability and all my talents should have to do manual labour, because at the end of the day, I'm a total leader. I guess that's what I am. And I know. Can you hear the crackling of the fire? I'll try to bring my microphone closer. I just think it makes it more Moaniyule when you can hear the crackling of the firewood and the guttering of the flames created by me synth. I don't know if you could hear that or not, but I do hope you appreciate my efforts trying to bring that sound to you. So anyway, I'm becoming sidetracked here. I've noticed that a lot of people were very worried that I was now going to find new lodgings, and I was offered a lot of jobs. A lot of jobs were offered to me. One was working in a factory. A guy said that he owned the factory, and he said that he's a big follower of the work that I do, and he loves the articles that I write. And he told me that he could get me into the factory because he practically owns the factory. And he said all I'd have to do would be to turn up in the morning. I could go into his office and I could just sit down, drink coffee, and chat to him all day. He said I wouldn't actually have to stand at the assembly, on the assembly line doing factory stuff, general operative work. And he said I get paid, and all I'd be doing is calling in the morning, going in at 8 o'clock in the morning, and clocking out at 4 o'clock in the evening. And he said all I'd be doing is drinking coffee and chatting to him. And I thought to myself, someone like me should now have to get up that early in the morning. That, I was working it out. I'd have to get up at about 7 o'clock in the morning. Someone like me needs to expend his energy on more important issues. It's not up to me to make enough money so that I can pay my own way. No, my time should be, other people should be paying for me food and paying for me rent and paying for me luxury items, me collectibles, me Funko Pops, me exclusive Doctor Who Funko Pops. So I had to turn down the offer, even though people were saying, Moansy, this is a very cushy number. You won't really be doing any work. It was the idea that I'd have to be in there in the morning. It just, I found it a bit insulting that he would even think that I'd accept that kind of life, working for a living, when I could be just moaning on the internet, making a fortune. And someone else was saying that if I'm hard up for cash and I need a place to live, why don't I convert the £50,000 of cryptocurrency? Why don't I convert it into normal money, into fiat currency? And the reason I don't really have to explain myself, but just to allay fears and to stop the rumours and the speculation, the reason I'm now going to cash that in is because if I hold on to it, I believe that by the end of 2027 I could be a millionaire. And if I'm a millionaire, I'd be able to do so much more for this movement that none of that money would be spent on trivial luxury items. It would be spent on the movement. So I'm waiting to become a millionaire so that I can then invest in very important people in the dissident right. I'm planning to invest 100% of me money in one person in the dissident right, namely myself. So Anyway, getting back to the Chosenites, I found out that a lot of their wealth came from usury. Now, usury is the idea that you loan money out at extortionate rates of interest, so that your peasant will pay back the money, but he'll pay it over a long period of time, and he'll pay extra onto that. And if he misses a payment, then there'll be interest on interest. You've heard of money lending. Banks and money lenders are more or less the same entities, except one has garnered enough power that they can make it legal, money lending, whereas your average money lender on the street, he does not have the backing of the state. But perhaps in the future, if he becomes a powerful money lender, he'll be able to open a bank. And that's another problem I have, is the idea of banking. I do find that the Chosenites seem to have their tentacles very much in the whole banking system, and I do worry about that. And if you ever go to a bank, you'll notice that it's very much like a prison. And in some banks, to enter the bank, you have to go in one door, and then you're trapped between two doors. You're more or less under duress until the guy in the bank presses the other door and lets you in. And then it's the same when you're going out. You could be trapped in there for 60 seconds. So for 60 seconds, you're more or less a prisoner of the bank, because you're waiting for the teller or whoever to press the button to let you out. Now, I find that quite symbolic of the whole banking empire, that more or less we are prisoners. We're chain gangs working to enrich the bankers. I do believe that. And I do feel that the Chosenites, they milk us like cattle, and they slaughter us like pigs at the end of the day. You've got your big farm on top of that, which is also, it's also, modern medicine and all that. It's very much a Chosenite affair as well. Now, people might disagree with me on that. They might say I'm getting paranoid, but I think if you look back at the old scamdemic, you'll find a lot of Chosenites there. A lot of Chosenites were there to pull the wool over people's eyes and pretend that everyone was dying, when really, if anyone was dying, it was because of the institutions and their malpractice. I think I've said more than enough. I think people can let me know in the comments what they think. Now, I meant to say this at the start of the video. I've really gone out on a limb here. Now, Moaniyule is, it tends to be very safe. No real dissension whatsoever. We agree to disagree and all the rest of it. And we more or less spend 2 hours at a time, myself and a guest, licking each other's faces, telling each other how great we are, and agreeing with absolutely everything, and just doing a fake laugh if there's any second of tension. But I think you'll agree that I've gone out on a limb with this video, and it's quite likely that this video will get taken down. Now, I was looking up Traitor FM here, and it says that Traitor FM has a black mark on YouTube, because a few years ago they got a video taken down by the Oireachtas, which is one of the Irish parliaments. So the Irish government has been trying to sabotage Traitor FM, and I think you'll find that it's likely this video will get the channel nuked, or at a minimal, it'll get a second black mark. So I'm putting a link into the alternative Traitor FM, which is on BitChute. So it'll be in the comment section, and it'll also be in the description of this video. So click on it, go over there and subscribe, just in case this channel gets showed. I think that's very important that you do that. Otherwise, you'll think that Moaniyule has disappeared, when he's still producing on an alternative video platform. So, all right, I think I'll leave it there. I've waffled on for quite a bit here, and I hope I've given you some food for thought about the Chosenites and where I stand on the Chosenites. I don't like their oily methods, and I don't like how they turn lies into truths, and I don't like I don't like how they make money out of thin air. I think that's quite it's quite non-aristocratic, I should say. It's not very gentlemanly to, you know, you don't put 2 coins in the ground and water them and then you dig it up and you've got 3 coins. You know, nature doesn't work that way. You can't. Money can now reproduce money, and I don't like the whole speculation and the Wall Street and all this. You know, all this casino-esque lifestyle and smoke screens and all the rest. I don't like the idea of, you know, of an old man, you know, floundering under the weight of a 50-year mortgage, you know, on a terrace house in a rough part of the country. I don't like the idea of that. I don't like someone going round in agonising pain because they can't afford the dentist, because they, you know, they're paying interest to the banks. I don't like that. I don't like the idea of speculation and people trying to make money because they have money. I don't believe in that at all. By the way, I recommend everyone get into cryptocurrency. It's where to go now. If you want to make money, if you want to make lots of money, you know, just from speculation and marketing and all the rest, if you want to make a killing, I really do urge everyone listening to this to get into cryptocurrency. I'm in it myself, and I'm in it for the long haul because I want to become a millionaire, so I can buy loads of luxury items on the internet, such as limited edition Doctor Who Funko Pops. And what am I saying? I mean, I want to become a millionaire so I can invest in the movement and invest in probably the best thought leader in the movement. That's me, by the way, millennial Moans. I'm a thought leader, you know. All right, do enjoy the festivities of Moaniyule, Merry Moaniyule. It only comes around once a year, and make sure you put up your Moaniyule tree and make sure you sit around with family and have a very big Moaniyule dinner with the turkey, and then for your dessert, possibly sherry trifle. It's a trifle too sweet for me, no pun intended, but you know, I would eat probably a few spoons of it, but it gets a little bit sickening for me. You know, I prefer to have something a little bit lighter after the big Moaniyule dinner with the turkey and the ham and the roast potatoes and the gravy and the Brussels sprouts. So yeah, that's it. Merry Moaniyule and all the best. I'll probably be back. I might be back before the year's out. It depends on if people want me back, because I get the feeling sometimes that, you know, I'm not getting the respect that someone of my importance deserves. So Merry Moaniyule and all the best for the new Moaniyule, which is 2026. Look after yourselves, and once again, Merry Moaniyule.